So we do have the match coming up now for the grand final, and we can see to map 1 with your casters.
Thanks, Harry. That's right. Caster and Snods here in position, ready to get underway for what hopefully should be an exhilarating grand final, Snods.
Should definitely be so. Rematch from the Epic Land Finals, where previously they were named London Slayers, now Pensioners, took down this same team, and already the action begins towards B.
It was quite a different roster.
In what sense?
What, the Pensioners are London Slayers?
Well, obviously it's still at Smooya's mix. I should have really classified it as Smooya's mix.
I was going to say.
Maybe it's like a mental...
There's no Rom, mate. Where's Rom?
That's true. Probably lurking somewhere with 10 seconds left on the clock. That's where he is.
However, the only thing that is not on the clock is any time left for Fierce in that round, Snods. Instantly dispatched. Pensioners finish them off very quickly to open it up on the CT side of Inferno. And that's the way the pistol round goes down.
And out. 1-0, as you said, for Pensioners on their CT side here on Inferno. The map pick coming out from Fierce, so of course Pensioners get to choose their side, and they opt to begin with the CT side defense.
The tiny Jake. I hope SEO's getting paid royalties for that picture.
Should do. So, Felico here coming out from Fierce. No armor, just a P250 for Fry. Should be a clean 2-0 here for Pensioners.
Ooh, Shaney with a little pre-fire, spamming away, hoping to try and get an early entry as they're making their move up towards top mid. A little bit of aggression coming out from the Pensioners. They are willing to play the game of push and pull right now, Snods. Battling towards the bottom of Banana, some damage coming across. Easy pickings for Smooya as he gets his second into the round. Only one that actually has found a frag is good old Dominic. Soulcast himself, Snods, in the apartment. Actually upgrades the MP9 as well. Is there any potential for a bit more cash?
Ooh, not quite. Going to be dealt with by Surreal. 2-0 heading into the third round. First Byron here of the grand final of the Premiership. 3 AKs. Stanley going to be behind the fifth, you would imagine. Next map being Train, then Overpass. We've seen so much of these exact same 3 maps here today. Just repeated over and over again. Teams sharing the same map pools, and that's what we're left with. Lots of Train and lots of Overpass. Only seen it once though, but it's been in the pool every single time. Flashbang is perfect, Eccles is blind. Unfortunately up close though, Lazza unable to capitalize off of the perfect flash from his teammates.
Waiting for this assault towards the site, Surreal and co. Attempting to regain a little bit of control at least. Smooya casts out the Molotov. Waits to go for the flash over. The aerial flash does come in. It allows him to go for the wide swing. He's traded back upon there. Oh, the timing is absolutely awful for Stanley as well.
3 versus 3. Surreal left alone towards CT at B. Jacob with the MP9 pushing in towards quad, trying to find some information here. Yeah, I was going to say, if Dom maybe turned his back, that could have been an opportunity. Instead, Shaney, the lone line of defense here towards the B side. If he strikes at the right time as well, he could find 2 and make this a feasible situation for Pensioners. Just came out a little bit too far there. And now 1 versus 2.
Surreal Snods, he has the kit. MP9 in hand. He's able to play around the clock, but they do re-smoke him. They're going to waste an awful lot of time here. Depends how confident he actually is in going in for this. A bit of a gap on the right-hand side, though he's willing to walk his way through it. Both of them stacked up on the elevated angles. If he would have gone into the site looking for Big Joe, he might have been ready, because they were about 7 foot tall.
They were. The boxes to stand on. So, 2-1. Smooth with the AWP this time around. Once again, 2 MP9s as well in the arsenal for Pensioners. Seen Astro again with the SG. Seems to love the scoped weaponry. So does Surreal with the AUG at Banana. Boost here for Smooya. Spots out 1 head. Dom at the peak. Down to 40 HP. They are able to force Smooya back and take Banana control. And this is where things get interesting. Fierce now have control towards Banana and top mid. But where do they eventually conclude themselves in this round?
Ooh. Sam there goes for the Extension out towards top mid. This time decapitates Shaney. Meanwhile, over at Banana, the push is slowly developing. Obviously, they were able to beat them off the aggressive control very early on. They're going to have to just try and play from the site now. Smoke's going out as they sit themselves in position, ready for the aggression to come through. Snods, everyone lines up. They're going to burst out through the smoke. Surreal just put onto the boost, but it wouldn't matter. Instantly cut down and decimated from that position. Lazar as well. Not too much he can really do. Stuck at the back of the site. Eccles with a Mat 10, able to eat his way through him very quickly.
5 players alive as well. Quickly and efficiently. Smooya, Jacob having to save their weaponry for the 5th round. Jack, in terms of predictions, we think Ezio, well, Ezio said he thinks Pensioners are going to win. What do you think?
At this point, we've still not had any teams that have been able to win the Prem back-to-back. Even when we had that era of dominance from FM, right? Where they were completely ruining everyone. I feel like it's a curse, Nods.
We never had back-to-back champions?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
So that's a good start.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, I don't think it's something that's actually going to come through here. It depends, right? It's that sort of potential damage you have of just all the boys inside of Pensioners popping off, potentially. If Smooya just has one of those games where he really goes for it, goes 100%, it would be a hard game, that's not.
Smooya alone towards B. Leaving the remaining team of Pensioners towards the A site. USBs, just smokes in hand, trying to delay the push coming out from Fierce and funnel them into the orb from Smooya and that B-bomb site. Slow round here from Fierce. They're anticipating the saved orb from Smooya and pistols. Apart from that, Smooya missing the easy shot from the jiggle peak there from Eccles. And with that, now they know exactly where the AWP is.
You do have the 3-player set up towards the top of Banana, getting ready to go in for this push. Smooya already tagged down to 68 HP. Actually just playing on top of the coffins, feeling himself as a bit of a simple into this round. Luckily, there is a rotation afoot. 50 seconds on the clock as they begin to move their way back over. There hasn't been too much noise towards the A site, and they are fully rotating into this, Nods. It is going to be the all-out aggression. The smoke's coming in as they will go to the play. On the B site, Surreal, up close and personal. Can he do anything to try and buy him some time?
Ooh. Smokes beginning to fade here on the B-bomb site. Still a 5 versus 5 with 20 seconds remaining. Or from Smooya, missing another easy shot here on stage. Now, Jacob with the M4. Still situated towards the A site. It's just Smooya's weapon here. Apart from that, a pistol for Surreal. And they're going to call it a day and save.
Trying to get the exit frags at least as they're moving their way across the site. Astro with a peek into Smooya, rips his head off. Shaney will go down as well. So they've done a good job of actually forcing all the weapons out of the hands of the Pensioners, making this round as costly as can be. Still looking to hunt a little bit more as well. Lazar will be finished off, and J-Chem's actually the only one that does survive, the rock of the team.
Round number 6, 3-2. Again, money is far from ideal here for Pensioners. Going to be going for another save, $3,000 across the board. They could have gone for a fairly weak buy, Famas's M4's low utility, etc. But instead, they are going to bite the bullet in the 6th round and try and save for that 7th round a full buy, orbs, utility, diffuse kits, you name it. And for Fierce, they're going to be expecting a full buy here, so meticulous as ever. But Smooya, down and out. Obviously no orb save for him, just the M4 for Jacob. Once again is towards the A side.
Ooh, Shaney. Goes the aggressive pushing towards Boiler. Starts to heat up the round a small amount as he finds the initial frag. And the play towards Banana though, Surreal chucks out the nade. There's a fair bit of damage, unfortunately. Stanley just shuts down Eccles. It was a mercy killing, Snods.
A put down.
Yeah.
Double retake here, AK for Shaney, M4 for Jacob has importantly got the Kevlar. Jacob unable to land the headshot, but Shaney can. 2 versus 2 now as both players are such low HP here from the CT side. HG grenade goes through. Barely does any damage though onto Stanley. Now it's down to Astro. 1. Should find the second as well, as Shaney has no armor, but it's going to be Stanley instead to jump the queue and get that final frag. 4-2 into the 7th round, and this is the buy that Pensioners were waiting for.
A bit of an interesting one there with the kill back through, but didn't matter in the end. They still were able to actually lock it down and win the round. And here comes the buy from Pensioners that will be a little bit more spicy. 1 M4 in play on Surreal. Shaney and JKM both rocking an AUG, and the double AWP as well. 1 on Smuya and 1 on Laza. But are they actually going to try and play with that aggression?
Flashbang goes in. Solcas is onto fairly low HP. Smuya here with the AWP. Oh, gets the tag onto Eccles. Laza backed up by Shaney towards apartments. The crossfire here. 1 holding for the stairs. 1 holding for the jump in through the balcony. Leaving this JKM alone with the AUG towards quad in case the mid push did come through. Still a 5 versus 5 here, Jack, and it's been a very slow-paced match. We saw with Reflex in the game with Revelation as well, it was much faster pace. Here, though, in the grand final, the pressure is here and the trophies on the line. Different play style.
Oh, Smuya somehow getting that quick shot off back onto Eccles. He's still hungering for more as they aggress against him. His teammates are dying around him, and he needs to be the one to save the site now. Went for the no-scope, but he couldn't actually get the shot off in time before he was cut down. Fry's going to rip him a new one. And all of a sudden, he's left on the 3-on-2. 25 seconds. They do have site control, but they're being peeked at. The fight's coming in. There's still confidence on the Pensioners. And they're just charging their way towards them. Astro hoping to bait them out. Forgot about the position that Jacob was playing from. He gets the easy shot off with the AUG. And the Pensioners will take that round.
Second shot here through the wall at quad. Onto Eccles. 4-3, round number 8. Let's see then. Jacob going in towards second mid. Molotov will deter him from going from that peak. Smuya has full control now towards Banana. This should mean the smoke and the rotation eventually. Smuya will be staying after he does dispatch of Solcas. Now then, 4 versus 5. How do Fierce recalibrate themselves after the loss?
Stanley flash through the smoke. The 2 players set up. You can hear the dinks that are coming in, the instantaneous flicks from the CT side. A very streamlined round. And it was perfect from start to finish. Smuya gets himself another frag. That's the double kill. And the 4th secured. They're keeping it close now. It's 4-4.
At the door.
Bag the Ramsey.
Round number 9, as you said, 4-4, all squared up. Fierce haven't really got too much muscle to square up with though. Just CZ's P250, some utility there for Astro. As Shaney with the wide face in towards middle, trying to get his action versus the Ecos. Looks like Fierce will go for the apartments burst towards the A side. Jacob peeking and shorter peeking for that information. Spots out 1 player. HE does some substantial damage there onto Eccles. Still 2 players here from Pensioners. Shaney and Jacob.
Ooh. Jumps right into the waiting arms of Jacob there. Dom going to give him a hug before he loses his head. The domination just continues on. Astro, the only one alive, trying to dance around the site but can't really stay there. Will be taken out, and Pensioners get themselves an unorthodoxly started 5th round.
Ooh, that's quite a lot of chickens.
That is quite a lot of chickens.
Oh.
Oh.
I think she likes you, Jack.
Wow.
Round 10. And she in towards middle from Shaney. Not going to connect any damage though, unfortunately, for him. Now Pensioners are the ones with the lead by 1 round. Fry may have heard that fall off from Jacob in towards Pip. As he's searching for the kill onto the side. First peek comes through. Jacob with the Orc, easily finding that headshot onto Fry. 5 versus 4 once again. And Stanley brings it back into the 4v4.
Very isolated firefights that are going on right now with the 1v1s. Just in favour of pensioners. Astro opting to actually back off potentially here. Waiting for the smoke to dissipate. Still a minute on the clock. Jacob actually going to push up as well and play a little bit more aggressive before they go for this quad burst. Time starting to tick down. They have 2 flashbangs and a Molotov between them. Astro has gotten out, scopes in, spots out a bit of leg. Tries to do some damage, spamming across, can't quite hit him. It's an awkward trade between either side. And the site is still bolstered, the defenses are good. And they're losing more and more time here.
2 versus 4. Astro, shot there onto from Pear. Dom as well finds Smooya. 20 seconds remaining, the bomb is in Dom's hands, and does he have time to trek all the way back around? Jacob though pushing into the side, gives away his position. 8 seconds left, Dom takes him down. 1 versus 1 from a previous 2 versus 4.
Bear in mind Cyril only has 23 HP, but he does have that AUG. You can try and be a bit more aggressive with a weapon from the play style. It allows, however, Solcast goes for the wide face. The confidence was there, and so was the accuracy. He'll hit that shot, and it does go 5-5 apiece, Snods.
Interesting as well, Smooya in the interview beforehand saying that Dom wasn't on liner, and on LAN he crumbles, even quoting that Dom costed him a LAN earlier in his career. How fitting that he was the one to win them that 2 versus 4 in the Premiership finals. And with that, Pensioners down onto a FAMAS for Jacob. 2 orbs for Lazza and Smooya. This is usually when Pensioners are at their best. Smooya with the 1. Unable to find the next frag though, unfortunately, onto Dom. Ooh, Astro creeping through the smoke. Doesn't expect Shani to be playing just behind him. Falls back. Ooh, but Molotov in hand. Stanley catches him off guard.
Stanley does a sublime job there. It's a bit more map control to play with. It is a 3 versus 4. They can still definitely build from this. Stanley, he's holding for the rotation, hoping that they might try and push through, expecting him to have gone for the CT play. Instead, though, they're just holding strong. Both of them supported. The smoke will try and restrict a little bit of vision. Lazza's on the site, though. You feel like he's got to land that shot, Snods, but it's not going down today. Fry playing with it. Just charges in. Hits off the shot. Jacob with the flick up. It's a further headshot going back in favour of the Pensioners. The rotation's coming around, but they're going to have to be quick about it. It's a 3 versus 2. But they are quite low. Stanley's on 14 HP. Goes for the Bogdan's Law. Is it going to work out well for him?
Here it is, then the AWP from Stanley this time. High sensitivity for those fast flicks. Instead though, AWP from Smooya, AUG from Surreal make it 6-5 in favour of the mixed team. Defuse kill is there, so the defuse should come through. There you have it. Money isn't quite there yet for Fierce. $2,000, $4,000, $3,000 across the board. They are going to go for the tactical, I imagine, from Fierce side. Timeout, and there it is, as a Fierce pause. So should be a Fierce timeout here. Jack, what do you think Imi's saying right now to Astro?
Bring guns, boys. Bring guns. Or probably something similar, Snods. But that is one of the tactical advantages they have, really, with Imi being there, right?
Just bringing guns.
Bring guns. It'll be able to give them that tactical insight, obviously, from a third-person perspective. You've got that sort of bird's-eye view on the team. Obviously, you know when you're in that environment yourself, as it can get quite hectic, especially this sort of environment, right? You can misjudge things. You might not notice certain things if you're tunnel vision into what you're doing rather than what the opponent could be doing against you.
Exactly.
That's definitely where Ian will excel, and possibly just giving them a bit more of a breakdown to counter that.
But they are on 2 CZ buy, so his impact probably won't be seen into the next full Byron in the 13th round. For now, though, 5 players here from Fierce, top banana. Smooya's AWP locked and loaded. The flashbang does temporarily blind him, but Surreal is there to back him up. The former Epsilon duo here to deliver the goods once again.
Oh, they are all Epsi gone. Surreal dealing with them very, very quickly there on the entry towards the site. Snods and the Pensioners are starting to rack up some rounds. Obviously, this is the CT side. We know as a mixed team, if you're just sat there holding an angle, especially when they're all pretty damn effective aimers, you're going to do a good job of it.
Round 13, 7-5. Byron once again for Fierce. MP9 for Shaney though, which is surprising to see as they have got the cash for a full rifle buy. Now then. Molotov. Oh, apologies, smoke actually in towards Arch. Shaney here. Off angle in towards Boiler. May catch Stanley and Co off guard here in towards mid as they have no one in towards apartments currently. In the meantime, banana control being obtained by Eccles. Nothing really too obvious being shown here by Fierce early on. I guess the point really being the aggression in towards apartments here from Pensioners.
Ooh, Shaney waiting in Boiler. MP9 in hand, quick flick on the first. And they're just charging towards him one by one. They were offering in the firefights. It allows Lazar to swing as well. He might be left on 21 HP, but he gets the follow-up dink. Astro's low and was an easy target for JChem. He smelt the blood in the water, chased after him, and finishes that one off quickly. 8-5 Snods. Pensioners, they're ramping it up now.
Round 14. Once again, the Eco going to be coming out from Fierce as they're going to be saving for that final round. Pensioners looking good now and solid on their CT side defense. JKM spawning a few players in towards second mid, going to go for the delayed HE grenade in towards the stairs. But it's Smuya towards Banana to open things up.
Oh, Shaney from Boiler. A simple fast frag, but he might get a bit overconfident here, pushing up towards the smoke. JKM, unsuspecting, doesn't realise there's a man right by him. They charge up towards Shaney. They win the up-close fight as he lands a tasty right hook. JKM is forced to fall back as well. Ali and Eccles are still alive, but not when Smuya arrives on the scene. Pushed the whole way down, Banana just holding, waiting. Eccles trying to go for a couple of tap shots out. Every exit was blocked there by the CTs, and it doesn't take much for them to pick that one up, giving them a 9th. Looking like potentially this could be a 10-5 half. If they carry on with the level of play they've been dishing out, definitely not the start that Fierce would want going into it as the current reigning champions.
Round 15, 9-5. Smuya once again going for the boost at Banana. HG grenade is perfect. As it gets Soulcast down to 44 points of health. Nothing going to be gained. No information, no frags from the boost from Smuya. But Fry in that last game was unbelievable versus Revelation. 30 frags basically on train. Here he is now struggling, 6 for 12. He's a major linchpin, part of the firepower of Fierce. So, slowly making their way in towards mid. Fry the low man in towards apartment, Stanley going for the contact play onto Jacobs Org in towards Pip. Right now this is the point they need to land those headshots.
Soulcast at 21 HP, but the push comes through. The brute force and the sheer overwhelming numbers they have should be enough to win them this. And it's caused a very hectic site take. Everyone is hitting those juicy shots though. And it is only Smuya that remains. He bunny hops his way over. The movement bliss is in effect, but it will just bring him quicker to his death.
Matt, you're looking dapper there in the suit.
It's a nice suit, mate, yeah. It's not bad, it's not bad.
Black tie.
Now, the Pensioners are definitely looking better. With a 9-6 scoreline. They're giving it going into this one, Snods. Now, if we cast our minds back to, I believe, the second week, when we saw the Pensioners play Inferno, they won the 9th round.
Or was it Ezio?
It would have been Ezio. They won the 9th round, and JKM said, let's start T. And they lost the whole game. They've now gotten to their T side.
And Jacob's laughing.
We've seen the little moments of greatness. Obviously, that's the CT side as a mix. It is quite easy to hold those angles. You know you can really just rely a little bit more on communication rather than overall strategy. You don't really need as much synergy inside of the groundwork and server stuff you'd have to do to, you know, get that down. Moving on to the T side, are we going to see week 2 pensioners?
Or week 4 pensioners.
Exactly.
With Loza and Smooya when they were added to the roster, I think the latter. That's what they're all fighting for, the prestige of that trophy. ESL Premiership here in Manchester. So we are waiting for both teams to be ready to continue this half. 5,188 kills over the entire season. How many? I'm trying to think of a fun, interesting stat. How many of those do you think were? I don't know, forget it.
Brilliant. Well, here comes the push down mid. As the frags are coming through, Smooya gets an opening tap as he will be able to destroy Fry in seconds. Stanley's hungering for a fight. They all start sprinting him at once. Luckily, there was ever so slightly some support from Eccles. He's not long for this world, though. Astro is in the rear. They won't know from the silence USP. They eventually try and flick. It's a bit of an awkward fight between them both. And he instead will try and just drop tower and run away, get himself into a bit of a better position. Smooya rotates back over towards the B site. Bomb will go down. It's all very fragmented, though. They're not that close to each other. The T's are still only just getting up banana. They've been able to at least work their way back through Speedway. Saltcast kills Smooya, but they still won't know who's on site or not. This could leave them in a bit of a predicament.
2 versus 2. No defuse kit here for Fierce. Pensioners with the upper hand, both playing towards banana. The bomb is planted for them. Fairly obvious where they are now. As the defuse begins, Jacob with the first frag. And the second as well. The former XL duo, backed up by Ross standing behind them as well. Surprised we don't hear Boaster screeching.
Oh, he's too busy with his vlogs these days to support them. There is definitely a battle of the coaches going into this. Obviously the edge there again, like we said with Imi, what can be brought to the table. Ross definitely, from what we had seen with XL at the time in more of a team structured environment, gave them a lot in going back to basics, being able to help them with certain things that potentially you sort of start to neglect when you get to that highest level in terms of just being an absolute talent in your aiming capabilities.
Yeah, it seems like everyone who has played with Ross always has very good things to say about him. So, CZ forced by here from Fierce after losing the pistol. This is the map pick from Fierce as well, remember. Next one being Train and then Overpass, maps which pensioners are notoriously good on, especially in the online season. This doesn't bode too well for them going forward.
Eccles. Oh, this absolute convergence. They're going to be hit from all angles at once, Nods. But it does not matter. Eccles gets nothing from it. Smooya instantly one-taps him on the face. Stanley will only get a single frag before he's traded back upon. This isn't going too well. That is actually going to be both of them opting to instead just get out of there. Save it for this round. Don't lose your armor. Don't use the utility they've been able to scrape onto, or both of those CZs. But it does mean pensioners, they will have 11 rounds on the board now.
Especially the force buy as well from Fierce. It should go 12-6. I said that last time though. For the crazy eco we saw from Revelation. So, Bomb will take down, send us into our 18th round. So far, the prediction from Ezio may be coming through here. I would have thought maybe a 3-map series, but if Fierce do lose their map pick and we do see Train going in favour of pensioners, this could be a very swift day of the Premiership. All 2-0s across the board. But this is the thing you're talking about. You had someone in the library smoke, someone inside the Archway smoke. Eccles up closer. Archway, but they couldn't quite get a kill each. And your favourite, Jack.
What an electrifying stat. That one was a shocker.
There we go. So, coming in towards top banana, Jacob leading the charge. 14 kills for him. He was one of the players we had a question mark around was, what is his form coming into this one in the interview before the game? He said he's got 50 hours in the past year, let alone past 2 weeks.
It's not what JKM brings to the table though, Snods. It's the wealth of experience in being the people's champion. A minute on the clock now as they rotate back round. See if they can actually find their footing and get in towards this bomb site though, or if they'll be warded off. An early confrontation there as Stanley got the info, seeing Shaney. Solcas has a lot of potential damage he could do here, being a bit of a silent assassin, sneaky stuff as he slides through, taps off some warning shots. He does get one frag before he goes down. Smooya forced to aggress up towards the site just as the smoke fades, spots him. The spray will come in and Fry will go down. The 12th round secured. Pensioners picking them up. We got the position we assumed they would make it to.
Easy pickings here versus the Pistols from Smooya. 21 kills, 7 deaths, 3 KD exactly. So, Flash in towards top Banana and middle. Going to be slowing down the CT aggression towards Banana. 5 orcs from Fierce. Pensioners, just the sole AWP onto Smooya. And this is where the test really is. You know, you mentioned how on the CT side they can play the positions as the mix. It's a lot easier. Now on the T side, it does get more difficult. However, winning that second half pistol has given them a big buffer coming into the second half with a 6-round lead. So there is room for error. But what could Smooya do with the orb in his hands? 21 kills. Even Jacob, Shaney, all playing well so far. Laz has been quite quiet today, however.
It's been a windy day for Lazar, unfortunately.
He is from Bristol.
He's not been cooking up anything too chasty, which is a little bit different from the norm. They're pushing towards the site, though. The smoke is going to get stuck and tag them. So they hear that, they knew, they went for the spam across. Astro trying to look into the tiny gap there. Actually nearly would have been lined up with Smooya to get that frag. Lazar takes a big hit as well, bringing them down to 52. They're all fairly low at this point. It wouldn't take much of a spam to remove them. But Smooya's looking to just put people in graves. Snods, huge tag as well. Astro, his confidence should be sapped away from that one landing him. And they're trying to get out of there. They want to back off, but I doubt most of them will actually be allowed to at this point. Fry could play it Smith. If he just tucks in, tries to clear it out. Jake M overthrowing him. Gets the kill, so as a 4 HP. It's ridiculous.
Highest headshot average. Obviously, he hasn't played many games, but the games he has played, he has been impactful. Shaking the M. 13-6. God, that was such a poor save from Fierce. They made for the call to save, and there's still 3 or 4 CT players on that site, all trying to frantically get away from Smooya's AWP, making it such easy pickings for them. Only 2 players surviving, and now their money's left in tatters, and so is their confidence as well. 13-6. They are forcing behind the 2 saved weapons, so they have enough for a cash on Soulcast to go for another AUG as well. But even so, this is a make or break round here for me, Jack, for Fierce. If they lose this one, this is going to be a very quick first map for Pensioners.
It's rough as well because, you know, normally Inferno is a good map for Fierce. It's one that they've actually achieved a fair bit on in the past. Although at times it was with a different lineup, obviously with Ardis before the changes, it still comes into effect. Now those Snods, round 20, a minute and 15. A bit of map control coming out early. Fierce were trying to fight for the banana control early. But Surreal's willing to try and challenge.
Molotov in as the smoke begins to fade. Stanley telegraphing his position there outside the smoke at Arch. Smooya may get caught off guard by the timing of the peak from Astro. But he lands the shot. 5 versus 4. Stanley trying to go for the refrag. Gets onto JKM. 4 versus 4, but he's onto low HP, onto 12. 30 seconds remaining, and Stan's going to be going back towards B, or just faking the noise.
Everyone's rotating. They've got 2 smokes, or 3 smokes actually. The Molotov as well, double flashbang. And more importantly, they have way more bodies to work with as everyone will sprint out towards the site. Fry drops a molly down, sees it in close range. He will get the first frag, stays alive. They're actually fully committing to the plant instantly as well. That could have been a free frag on Luzza. Luckily, it was just a tag, bringing him down to 39. Or it could have been an awful lot worse. Smooya scoped in towards CT as well. They're both peeking right next to each other, Snods. It almost feels like they're going to line up. He misses the easy ones. And he will be punished for his mistakes. Luzza sat up in Stanley, gives him a taste of his own medicine. Soulcast will suffer the same fate as well as Surreal, but it's all on Eccles' org. Charges his way in, the double dink, gets the shot off, sprints towards the bomb. He's got the kit and he's going to save the round at the last seconds, Nods.
Very questionable play there from Luzza. Why on earth has he not gone for the wide face to trade his teammate there in the 1 versus 2? Eccles gifted that defuse. The game continues. 7 frags for Eccles. No one really stepping up here for Fierce individually. They're looking deflated. Sad as well. Especially when we went to the player cam earlier during the pause of Eccles with his head in hand. But Smooya once again kicks things off. 25-8 for him. 5 versus 4 and Fry's on low HP too.
Yeah, Fry already been put on 20 is not really too perfect for them. Shaney, very close here. Over by apartments. Potentially was in a position for some havoc to erupt. Instead, they reposition back around. They've got the setup towards Banana. They are beginning to make their move in. It's a 3-player setup from the CT side, though. They also have a bit of defensive utility left, more on the offensive side. So if they charge their way in, they can drop the Molotov. They have the HE as well. No smokes though, Snods. As soon as that one fades, that's when the aggression can come around, and luckily, they get the Molotov out first. Burnt out from the position they want to be in though. It shouldn't spread to actually force Astro out any further, but it looks like it might be a little bit of an elaborate ruse.
Here we go then. 5 players from Pensioners coming in towards B. Astro unable to find a frag. Gets the headshot though. Maybe Fry can finish off the job. Onto Luzza or Surreal. Gets 1. Gets the second as well. There was 16 seconds left. Maybe, just maybe there was a chance. But it's all down to Soulcast now. 1 versus 3. Bomb goes down. Now 1 versus 2. Low HP here for both Jacob and Surreal. Maybe there's a chance here, Jack.
That could very well be indeed. Peeking back through, round to CT, spots out the first, goes for the wild spam though. Oh, but a simple tap as they Char slides straight into his bullets. Soulcast now, a 1 versus 1, uses the Molotov as well, expecting the second player to be in dark. Does not realise that he's hiding towards runes. It's Jake M, but he's going to slow walk out. He needs to find the shot quickly as the defuse was about to come through, but you can't beat the Jake M.
Well, Smooya's scream personifying how the team feels internally. 14-7, Pensioners putting the money back into a dire place for Fierce. $3,000, $4,000 across the board, but they are going to force behind it. Pause now from Fierce, and Ian Imi Harding has his say.
Yeah, trying to give some insight. Instill some hope in them potentially, because this is the map that they should be doing quite well on, really. Scary factor is as well, Stance, this is the exact same veto as we saw from the previous semi, obviously, that you just casted.
Exactly.
So if they were to lose this, you're then going on to train. And the fact is, that is going to be an all-out AWP fest. You think of that Pensioners roster.
And how close the last games were as well on
oh, yeah.
that map.
And just how much damage and how versatile that team can be on a map like Train. Literally every one of them could don an AWP. And they've already got a pick into this one. There will be a trade back, however, leaving them into a 4 versus 4. Aggression's coming, the tempo's pumping as they charge out towards the site, and everyone is getting put down. Soulcast with a double one to Shaney and Jacob. The two that remain on the T side quickly just becomes one. Smooya no longer surviving. Stanley will find his head and clip it clean off.
No money now for pensioners. $2,000, if that, for a few of the players. 26 kills there for Smooya. One of the issues where you have one player performing and the rest aren't quite at that same level is if Smooya drops off or if Smooya's unable to have the impact that he's having earlier on in the game, who is going to fill the shoes of that carry role, especially in the next map train as well. So, Fierce, can they get comfortable now on their CT side? Someone's been having fun with the new stats.
64 utility kills this season. That is interesting. Right, Pensioners underarmed in terms of the arsenal. And they're walking straight into Fry's waiting jaws as well. He can actually back off now, smoke it. He still has the Molotov for the push, and he's just going to play defensive. No risk taking from Fry. It would be unnecessary at this point. Rotation comes around, so Stanley's there to support if need be. They are backing off. But they won't leave before Surreal fakes it.
Smoke in towards the B site, forcing Stanley to rotate back with Fry as well. Fake has worked out very well here, especially now Pensioners strike at the right moment. Only pistols though, so I don't think they have enough firepower here to really overthrow the defense here from Fierce, but I've been wrong before.
Smoke's coming in, flashbangs to blind them. They try and cut the site into two. It is a trade from the pit. Soulcast spamming away. Connecting his shots, finds himself another frag as Smooya is eliminated. There's no actual firearms in the hands of the Pensioners. Shaney can luckily recover himself an AUG to give him a bit more range to play with. Luzza, though, needs to be careful. Swings out towards mid, caught in a game of cat and mouse as he sprints back round towards the bomb site and loses the face. And Shaney, is he a certified lip remover? He is indeed, as he will cut his way through Fry.
Pro League paying off, or FPL even, maybe Pro League one day. 15-8, 7 match points now for Pensioners on the map pick from Fierce. Winning a quasi-buy there, just CZs and Kevlar. Smooth with the AUG in hand, gets the entry towards the A site. Makes it 27 kills for him. And this is where, going into this next map, let's be realistic here, is Fierce going to win 7 in a row? I'm not sure, Jack, I don't think so. Going into this next map, can they shake off a loss like this?
I don't know, it's one of those where in reality, if it does start to hit them and their mental game tanks, especially when you get in a trainer, you think of how aggressive potentially the Pensioners could start playing. Everyone could be rocking those orbs as well. It could be an awkward map. There's a chance, Nods, and that would be a scary prospect indeed for the team that is currently our champions. But it looks like Pensioners will absolutely be taking the first map if they carry on playing like this. Back towards the A site. They're trying their luck there again. They found a fair bit of success so far into this map. Why not hit that weakened knee one last time?
Stanley peeks in towards mid. Loses his teammate though in the meantime towards pit. Smooya still the AUG searching for another entry. Echoes are still there though, playing towards either on balcony or under balcony. He's on top of the balcony, just behind the smoke. Smooya walking up. 2 players additionally here from Fierce, which makes it 3. 25 seconds left.
Fierce Killer Bees are on the swarm as they've been able to reposition back on the site. Unfortunately, the Hive isn't holding up. They're being beaten down, and they're going to be fuming at what is occurring to them. Smooya gets the trade back, assists his teammate there as Luzza dies. And now it is all on Fry. 1 versus 4. If there was a man you'd want in this situation, it definitely would be the young Frederick, but it's not today. He can't do it, will be cut straight away. That is a 16-18 scoreline. The Pensioners overthrowing Fierce there in the first map relatively quickly. It was a bit of a shocker, Snots.
Was indeed, 16-8. 31 frags for Smooya. Let's see what Harry has to say about that.
That was a great first map victory there for the Pensioners, and don't get me wrong, you've got players like Smooya with a KD like that. What can you do against that?
There isn't much you can do, honestly. He's running the show, whether it's on CT or T, he's dictating the entire map. And from Fierce's point of view, it's kind of just like, what can we actually adjust? Because he's able to do what he wants right now. And they're going to need to address that next match.
Yeah, it's very difficult, as you saw from there. And, you know, what can we do? You know, there were certain instances where, you know, they could have got a first shot, they had the right angles, but it just didn't seem to be enough.
I think Fierce had an okay terrorist side, but then when they were on the CT side, they were just playing far too passive for my liking. Like, the way they were playing, you could tell that they were almost scared of their opposition. Sometimes when it's not going right, you need to change it up a little bit, and they just didn't do that. And in the end, you know, when you don't adapt to a player of Smooya's caliber, he gets 30 frags. And shout out to Shaney as well, who was really good.
Yeah, no, he's been very impressive, not just here, but in previous weeks as well. Like, you know, in the playoffs he did great, he did obviously in the last few weeks as well. He's always been a very strong fragger. He's never, you know, never really lost it. He always had that element of consistency as well. And, you know, there's some bits you saw there where with Fierce, you kind of felt like they gave up Banana quite easy, because Smooya a few times would just literally walk up Banana and just AWP him left, right and centre. And I think in those kind of instances, they would rather just let him have that control rather than actually trying to, not defend it, but try and at least conflict it.
It was just thinking about how many rounds did we see Pensioners, as I say, go up Banana. How many times was it a case of losing a player within the first 45 seconds or so on Banana? And it's just like, you know, we'd see time and time again Fry on his own on that side, he'd be stuck there. At the new boxes, still just stuck, stranded, not with much to do either, just kind of, okay, I'll probably get a kill, but grand scheme of things, this round is pretty done.
Yeah, and to add to that as well, and you'll probably agree with this as well, just due to the fact that when we saw Pensioners, don't get me wrong, like, Fierce weren't doing too bad. They managed to get 6 rounds on the T side, but the Pensioners T side was just completely different. It was, you know, well orchestrated, well coordinated, as you saw there. There wasn't really too much elements of aggression, it was just more slow, methodical play and just trying to throw them off in multiple ways. You saw, like, with the fakes on B, etc, etc.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it's like football. Counter-Strike is a game of 2 halves, and Fierce didn't show up for the second half. It's that simple, really.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. And why would you think, with the Pensioners, why was their T side so good? Was it just due to the fact that, you know, with their slow methodical play, or maybe Smooya getting quite a few of the entries, it just helped and it just was too much?
Well, Chrome addressed it quite well in the sense that they were quite afraid. Like, you could tell they were not playing as aggressive as they were earlier, for example. The confidence wasn't, you know, there, right? So they were just playing quite defensive. And then, if you're playing defensive and there's a player coming at you, CS is more of a speaker's advantage game. Anyway, right, so right-hand peek into everything. He's going to get the advantage each time. He's obviously landing shots when he needs to as well in this game. So, you know, that results in situations like this, a 16-8 loss on your own pick.
Yeah, that's going to be really demoralising, and you said it before, you know, if you're not confident at all and you're that defensive, that's such lacklustre. That's so important for your gun skill, and if it's going to affect him that much, it could be a 2-0 hit.
Yeah, the thing is, it's not just about being defensive, right? Irregardless of the map that we're playing, whether you're on the offense or on the defense, you need to adapt to the opposition. And with Fierce, I don't know if perhaps it was their lack of experience at this level. You know, nerves can sometimes kick in. It's a final, they're on stage, etc, etc. To be fair, some of the lads in that team, I don't know why I said lack of experience, because they don't lack experience, but, you know, especially when they've got Imi behind them. But, yeah, they just weren't adapting in that second half, and before you know it, it's too late. Smooya's got a 30 bomb, and you've lost your map.
The thing is as well, it can probably come into it a bit in the mental side that they all know Smooya quite well, and it's potentially getting their minds a bit because obviously they're quite friendly with him and everything, and he's, you know, running around. He's on the other side screaming, exactly. Yeah. And that does get in your head. That does get in your head though. It's, you know, it can have a huge impact. The mental game is just as important as the actual mechanics of it.
Yeah, he was being loud as always. It's, you know, it wouldn't be the same if he wasn't, you know, being loud on that circumstances anyway.